Sam calling in from North Carolina. You're live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
How's it going, y'all?
Going pretty good. Having a good night.
Sweet. Yeah, I am an atheist, and I'm working on an argument right now against the idea of Satan at all. Obviously, I don't believe in any of it, but I try.
You mean the existence of Satan?
As evidence of, yeah, the existence of Satan.
Okay.
So if you look into like Christian lore and who Satan was, it just doesn't make any sense. So you have to. So Satan rebelled against God, which doesn't make sense because Satan would know how powerful God was, knowing he could not be defeated. That doesn't make sense. Satan also convinced like half the pantheon of heaven to also rebel against God, who also all knew how powerful God was, and they also rebelled. And I just don't see why you would do that if you knew that God knew everything you were going to do in the first place.
Yeah.
The whole like Satan tempting Jesus didn't make sense because Satan knows Jesus is God. So why would Satan tempt God to sin? It's just mind-boggling bullcrap, to be honest. But I'm trying to build like a good list of things, and I wanted to know what your thoughts were on those arguments.
Well, if you're just taking a biblical point of view on the character of Satan, first of all, you have to recognize that the Jewish people did not believe in Satan, at least the Satan that we have the concept of today. You can look at one of the oldest books of the Bible is the book of Job, and the book of Job has this character, the Satan, I think is how it's supposed to be, but it's kind of this lawyer character, sort of this prosecutor that's kind of putting God on trial for, what his actions are and whether he does is good.
For God, pretty much.
Kind of, yeah. And so this narrative of Satan falling from heaven and whatever, like, hey, Satan's like talking to God like they know each other at this point, and like I don't know, it's a whole thing. It's a very different concept, and you can also look at the ideas of heaven and hell. First of all, Jews don't believe in heaven either, or hell, not the same way that we do. So like that whole thing, that's a big kind of hole in it. But going to the New Testament, when they're talking about the figure that tempts Christ and stuff, you can make a causal connection between this figure and what they're talking about in the Old Testament. But like this, it's a lot of what we understand about Satan in the modern Christian context comes from the book of Revelation, right? And so the book of Revelation kind of gives a lot of Satan lore, not just in his past, but also more specifically what he's going to do in the future and kind of his motivations for his actions. And so, from a biblical standpoint, Satan is all over the place, and it's all these different figures that may or may not be the same thing. By the way, here's another example. The book of Genesis talks about the serpent. Okay. That nowhere says Satan, does not say Satan. The fact that people call that Satan,
it doesn't at all.
Completely Christian idea. You know what it says about the serpent? It says that
when you're Christian.
No, it says that God cursed the serpent so that he'll crawl and eat dirt across the earth. It says that he'll do that. Satan's not doing that. Satan's supposed to be like in hell or wherever. He's not on the earth and crawling. They're talking about snakes. Like that's what it is, or at least what they think are snakes, because snakes don't eat dirt. But the point is, they call it's not even the same thing. So like we have these really loose ideas about Satan and what he is, and it's not coherent at all. There's no coherent idea of Satan that you can find across all the books of the Bible. So it doesn't even like to talk about its existence. We can't even really define its existence based on the source text that we're looking at, let alone whether or not there's a figure out tempting people and doing stuff in the world. It's really kind of bonkers.
Yeah, it really shakes your that is like one of the reasons why I walked away from the faith. That and having my kid, I was like, well, I love this kid more than God, so I'm already
there. You go.
Right there.
Wait, Sam, you're saying you wouldn't kill your kid for God? You wouldn't sacrifice your kid for God?
No, I'd probably kick God in the nuts if you asked me to.
Well,
I'm just being
better than Abraham.
There you go.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all's response. I actually recommend Bart Ehrman's new book on heaven and hell, which kind of sent me down that whole rabbit hole. And I was just like, this Satan character, I'm getting like 15 different personalities, and none of them adding up in the whole.
Yeah, and some of them come from.
If God was. I'm sorry.
Later. Oh, I was just going to say, and like they cover such a wide span. It covers like, you know, some little tidbits from the New Testament. Some of it's from the, you know, the apocryphal books, and like the, you know, apocryphon of Peter, or, you know, the other revelations that came about. Some of them happened in the medieval centuries, and like with Dante's Inferno, and you know, these extra biblical kind of fan fiction also plays into the role of what modern Christians, how they view the devil and his abilities are. So it's like, you really, if you kind of have to go back and dismantle all of that and see where it started from, and seeing where it came from, you know, the Greek pantheons and that sort of thing too, and the Zoroastrian influence.
Yeah. If you've ever been scared by the idea of Satan, it's because of an idea somebody told you, and not because of the Bible. If your entire concept of Satan came from the Bible, like, your idea of it would be very, very different. I'm sure. I mean, I guess the book of Revelation is kind of scary, but it's not like, it's not the demons and the wings and the pitchforks that you see. That's all just.
Even the whole part about him, you know, there's a lot of, even like what you had mentioned about like the fault that took the third of the angels. Is that even in the canonical, like, the Bible? I thought that
might be in the Revelation or something. I think like it says something about the angels fell with him or something, or I might be just getting that from Christian.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a third of the angels from heaven sort of rebel, but also like the Mormon.
Follow this guy.
I'm getting this. This might be getting confused with the Mormon faith too, because the Mormons have some ideas about Satan and stuff, and I'm thinking maybe that's where it came from, and not from. But I don't. It's been a minute since I've looked at Revelation too. And also, it doesn't. The book. Look, listen. Nobody fucking knows what the book of Revelation. I don't care. I don't care who you talk to. Listen, you ask the biggest, the brightest minds in biblical scholarship, and ask them their opinions on the book of Revelation. They'll give you 100 different answers on what this stuff means. Okay, it's not profitable for your daily life. That's all I'm saying. There's better things you can read, you know. But anyway, Sam,
I brought it up in a debate. Oh yeah.
I was just gonna say,
I brought it up in a debate.
Yeah, finish your thought.
The guy just had no answer. Just nobody ever had an answer for it, is what I was saying. It was like, I was wondering if it was like a good, like, make you think about your faith question.
I hope so. Yeah. That's the goal, right? But anyway, Sam. We got to wrap things up. Sorry, we're kind of running low on time here. But Sam, thanks for calling in. Hopefully I dropped in some good info for you. Again, I've read the Bible. Read a lot of books about the Bible. I'm not a biblical scholar, but anything I'm telling you here, like, you're going to find it in the scholarship as well. You know, like that. It's all. You can find the origins of this stuff, and it's fascinating to see where it really comes from. It's never from what you expect, but